11th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Trae Waynes.
Welcome to Elite Team Athletics Podcast. I got my guy Q, my guy Tevin, myself, Kyle Coglatori, and a special guest, Trae Waynes. Trae, I want to say with the Vikings, right now you're unrestricted free agent. Does that feel weird? You feel like you cool with it? You feel good?
He about
Ready
to cash that
out?
check.
Yeah. Long time coming.
Yeah. So off camera, we were just talking a little bit about when you were getting drafted, you were not thrilled with the Vikes pick because you were told they had no interest in picking you.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of thought you were going to be going to Jeff Fisher or John Fox in Chicago and the Rams, that kind of deal. And, I mean, I guess I can understand the animosity. If you think somebody's not going to do it, then they do it. Kind of walk us through that a little bit.
So like I said before, right when the draft was about to start, I asked my agent, where's it look like I'm going to go? Because, they have a feel for it. They talk to the coaches, the GMs, the owners. And the first thing he said was the Vikings aren't going to take you. So in my head, I'm like, fuck them. Whatever. Like, I don't want to be here if they don't want me here. So, that was kind of it for that. And then, when it was time for them to pick, I wasn't even paying attention. Then my phone starts ringing. And I look at my agent. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I was kind of mad. I'm like, you told me. You know what I'm saying? So I was still feeling some type of way. But, after a minute, like, it all, like, kind of just hit me. And, it was over for there.
And then it was overwhelming, just happiness to make it. That
cool.
transition's crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, especially because we had a crowded cornerback group at that time. We had, Newman,
Xavier.
Rhodes, Captain Munnerlin.
Yep.
Like, so it wasn't like I'm just going to show up, start right away. It's like you really had to earn your way onto the field. And, yeah, that's how, what was that like going from being the man in Michigan State to now essentially like fourth on the depth chart?
It was cool. Like I said in the interview, my rookie year, it's like I'm just redshirting again.
Yeah.
Just because, you're coming into a whole different league system, set of rules, and it's like you could get away with a lot in college that you really can't do now. Like you can't even fucking touch a receiver without getting a flag. So, that was new to me. Learning, the playbook, the system. A lot of people probably won't know this because they're not in that locker room, but the Vikings have a very complicated defense.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not easy to learn, and we're always doing, plays off of plays, off of plays, off of checks, off of formations, everything. We have like 4 calls in one play, and then that play could get switched if, one receiver motions. It could, add a whole bunch of other stuff to it. So, it wasn't an easy thing to learn, but once you learn it, it's pretty easy to, go off of. But, it took me a while to learn it, and, a lot of the guys, like T-New especially, helped me learn it when I was backing him up.
He's still a coach, right? He actually transitioned, or is he out? Because
I know he's out in California.
Okay.
But I don't know what he's doing out there.
Because I know for a minute there, they're thinking about getting him off the staff and bringing him back to the roster. Because we got injured. Was that 2 years ago?
No, that was this year.
That was this year?
Yeah.
They were really like, hey, man, strap it up one more time. Let's see if you can do it. How many years has he been out when they came up to him to do that?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah, because his last year, they let him go after like OTA or some shit, and then they brought him back to coach. And then this year was his like first year out, I think, or last year.
I remember the good old days when he was with my Cowboys.
Yeah. Him and Parcells. He used to have to bring the water to Parcells.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you're talking, Q, you guys go way back.
We do.
6th grade, right? Used to run the city, playing some hoops.
Yeah, we ran it. We ran it back to back.
Who gave who buckets, though?
We're on the same team.
Yeah, we was on the same team.
Right, but who
Yeah,
got
but I
more
mean,
buckets?
Okay.
Who got? He's the basketball guy.
Oh, I see it. I see it every Saturday.
Yeah, that was him.
So you couldn't compete with him? What was going on? I mean,
I can't shoot.
you can't shoot?
I can play defense.
Yeah, mid-range
Hey,
specialist.
that's it. Mid-range? Okay.
I don't got
mid-range
handles
special.
either, so.
You're a track guy, baseball guy.
No, I'm the track guy.
You weren't a track guy?
No, I was a football guy who ran track.
There you go.
The difference.
Okay. Thank you for correcting that. I was going back on all the stuff you accomplished throughout your high school career.
My family was track people.
Mom and dad.
And brother,
Brother too. Your mom and dad were at Kansas State. Where'd your brother end up?
He went to Eastern.
Right on. Your dad's actually. I remember reading a quote about how you got cheap shotted in practice, and it was a crack block, and your coach didn't do anything about it. It was
fucked him up.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear that you got in a fight
I
before.
didn't get a fight, but I hit everybody.
I actually that was
Y'all
the other
fucked
thing.
it up.
Well, the quote was that your dad pulled you aside and said, "Hey, man, don't ever let anybody disrespect you."
I wasn't even that. He knew what time it was.
This was at Michigan State?
No, this is high
was
school.
High school, yeah.
High school. So that's bogus when you have your own
Yeah.
teammate.
Well, because my thing was, like, they wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, our offense had, like, 3 dudes.
Yeah.
Like, Mel, Gino, Vontae, maybe a couple others. So, like, you know, my thing was, I'm not with, like, the extra shit in practice because my thing is, like, save it for the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
And they hit me on some bullshit. So I'm like, all right, bet. Like, all right, cool. Like,
Payback.
that's what y'all want to do? So Pete was one of them. I lit Pete ass up.
Oh yeah.
I
heard
him
about
up.
that.
So I was like, everybody gonna get it. Because I ain't, you know, I'm as extra as you gonna be.
I actually read you're always known for smacking kids, and it's turned out.
I lit Tommy ass up too one time.
Oh man.
I remember that. We got in a lot of fights though in high school. Like
Okay.
our head coach, like he liked it.
That it was building the program up.
I mean, it was just that mentality thing he wanted, and like
Bunch of dogs.
yeah, I mean, he almost got in a fight too in one of the playoffs games. Like our head coach.
That's awesome.
But I mean, it's just
I want to play for that guy.
yeah.
I should have played for that guy.
What would you have been, Q?
Would have been back there with Trae. Would have been splitting them sides, and
Why couldn't
it
you
really
even
would have
do
been
it?
no fly zone.
No fly zone.
Really, because I mean, you know,
You got them hot.
I'm a hooper anyways, and I got about a 42-inch vert. You know, no one's throwing the ball up.
Hands too. You got quick
No,
hands.
no one's throwing the ball up.
So why couldn't you convince this guy to come play a little footy? He didn't want to do it.
doing this thing.
Strictly hoops.
I was simple-minded at the time, man. I just wanted to play basketball, but you know, other sports can open other doors. I should have. You know, everyone has some regrets. That's one of them. But hey, life goes on.
True. So going back to the hitting people, I mean, you're known for being a great tackler in the NFL. That's actually probably one of your strongest suits besides how fast you are.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, in the Vikings defense, it's actually needed. Corners. I mean, Antoine Winfield. Xavier was pretty good at it. You're really good at it. I mean, I feel bad for Xavier. I feel like he's getting a bad rap. I think he's been hurt a lot. So I'm not even going to get into that. I like Xavier. But, what's that like coming in? Was that transition easy, just still smacking kids, or is it catching up? Like,
Nothing. I mean, just because coming out of college, we did hitting drills every day. So
Yeah.
it's like it wasn't anything different. The only difference is in college, you're playing. I mean, they're all good.
Yeah.
But in the NFL, everybody was a man on their college team, so that's who you're playing. Like in college, like not everybody's the man. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have guys that are okay, like decent, but everybody's good at this level. But as far as the tackling thing, like that's never been, an issue for me, just because, even starting in Pee Wee, like that's what our coach did. Like our coach back then, I played for the Broncos. He had a son that was a linebacker and all that stuff, but we were doing hitting drills then, and his whole thing was the harder you hit them, the less it hurts, and that's what he preached.
yeah.
So I mean, I was hitting from a young age, and it's something that I kind of just got used to.
Kenosha, it sounds like a crazy community out there, like a lot of support. Like you guys are real sports fans out there.
We used to be.
Used to be.
Yeah,
What happened now?
Certainly.
Really? It
Used
fell
to
off?
be.
Oh,
Oh, has
Since
it?
we left.
Really?
Terrible.
Because I mean, there's been Nick Van Exel. There's been a lot of people who've actually been
Ever since
successful.
we left, terrible. We maybe had like one other person that actually did something. Gavin Lux, he plays in the MLB for the Dodgers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in their defense, when you take 2 NFL players and professional hooper out of the school, out of the community, I'm guessing your sports team is gonna fall off a little bit. Like, if you go keep
I
up
mean,
that level of
you know,
excellence.
in comparison, you don't have to be a professional hooper, but you can still go to college, make a
Right.
name for yourself, and be strong at the sports, and still at least have a good culture and a strong program. It's like the programs are falling off, not necessarily the
okay,
individuals.
okay.
Is the coaches still there? Same coaches?
I'm not sure. The records aren't good enough for me to keep track.
Nah,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
If I tell the truth.
It's not even like that. It's just like the community support too. Like nobody goes to games no more, and we used to have like several thousand people at our games, and like we were talking
Really?
about that the other day for
Yep.
the basketball games. Had to bring out extra bleachers. Now nobody even goes. So I mean, it's partly on the community too.
That's crazy because everything I've been reading from what you do in the community, because you do a lot. I mean, you do a free camp, you do a 7-on-7 camp. You and Melvin do it. You also do a dodgeball tournament. You showed up to the baseball all-star games for the Little League stuff. I'm probably forgetting some stuff here, but I know you do a lot. You speak at a lot of events, high schools, boys and girls clubs. And the turnout, from what I was reading, was huge. Like, you guys have 510 kids at your camp. 300 signed up in the first 30 minutes. So, I mean, that blows my mind that it's fallen off. So the support for you guys is still
I
there.
don't mean the athletes though.
Okay.
Because you got to think, like, back in the day, Q can attest to this. Like, when, like, me, Mel, Gino, like, Joe, like, when we was playing, like, we was doing a lot of extra shit on the side. Like,
Okay.
we would go to, Carthage and, like, do things to get better. You know what I'm saying? We were taking that extra step because we knew where we wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? So it was, like, it wasn't, like, a situation where we go to practice, go home, jump on the video game. Like, we was doing the early morning workouts. We was doing shit after school. We was doing shit on the weekends, like just trying to get better. And you don't really see that nowadays.
Can you elaborate that for the kids that listen to this to let them know what they need to be doing if they really want to get to that next
Figure it
level?
out, just like we had to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Extra.
yeah, like
Gotta
shit
do
ain't
more.
gonna be handed to you. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
My thing, like I don't really like when I go back and talk, like I don't really sugarcoat it and like tell kids what they want to hear, cause I was underrated, undersized my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't. You can ask him. I wasn't the big time recruit, and it was crazy cause Mel was saying the whole time, like bro, like you're gonna go higher than me. Like you're better. Like you're underrated, but it's like, I had to do the extra shit just to get noticed. You know what I'm saying? Just because of my position. Because I asked a college coach one time from North Dakota. It was like my first offer. And I was like, look. Because he was like, ask me anything you want. And I'll be honest. And I'm like, all right, like, no offense, but why is it that, I'm looking at these kids from Texas, from Florida, Ohio, same position, same size, everything. And it's like my stats are better, if not the same, but they have 15 plus offers and I got y'all. He was like, because you're from Wisconsin. It's like no skill position is known for coming out of Wisconsin.
That's
That's
crazy.
fact.
I mean, it's true. Wisconsin's known for running backs, linebackers, and linemen.
Lineman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like that's something I had to face, and it's like I feel like that extra work that our class was committed to doing helped us put us over the edge, and you don't see that a lot of times. You just think that a lot of kids they go to the same school that we went to, they're doing the same program, they're wearing the same number that. That's just gonna get them that extra mile, and it's like it ain't it. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the extra work yourself. You can't just show up.
The biggest thing that I feel a lot of kids have is, a lot of things are given to, and not every kid, because obviously that's not the truth. But I think a lot of kids who think they're gonna have that dream of playing in the league, they think a lot of things are given. Their parents are gonna push them to get there. But there's too many kids that are hungry already on their own. You know what I mean? They're gonna take your spot. If you're not doing the extra things you're talking about, they're not going to make it, period. Like, there's too many kids that actually want it and are going to go through the motions. You know what I mean? Do what you're talking about, going after. But it's crazy to hear that because you'd think with Melvin being there, like you said, he was a highly recruited kid, you would have thought that all that extra tape, all those scouts being there would have actually been beneficial for you. Did you get to at least be in front of those coaches and talk to them and be like, hey, I'm here, man?
I was, but it didn't really matter just because the state of Wisconsin's not really a pass-happy league or state.
Okay.
So even I was out there, doing my thing. They weren't really throwing the ball like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they just saw like a lot of tackling and shit, and they just said, I was a guy who had to come to the camps.
Okay.
Like every camp I went to, I walked away with an offer.
Okay.
So I mean, it wasn't the fact that I couldn't do it. It's just I wasn't really able to show it just because of the position I was in, because of the state I was in.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Wisconsin's terrible. I went to high school in Wisconsin, and like, yeah, all the offenses are like the wing T, triple option, like corners you're getting. I got all state in Wisconsin, not defending any passes hardly, like just straight up like just being big and the only black kid on
Being
the field.
Tevin.
Right. Like, I'm not gonna throw his away. We're gonna pick on the other side, and I'm like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you're all state. Like I didn't even know I played corner this year.
If I jump in, that's exactly what teams did when they played against Bradford. They did not throw to Trae Waynes' side.
Really?
Maybe once a game, and then it was a deflection or interception. Like, that's it. The temps were really low.
What's the deal though that I read that they had you playing outside linebacker and they had you playing safety before you even were at corner?
So how our high school worked.
Was it just to give you action?
Well, I mean that's the thing. Like, so how our defense was run, like early on, like when we were younger. I mean, they wanted all their like hitters up front, like their tacklers. They're like better players, and that's the position they put me in. Like it was like a stand-up outside linebacker, and it was like I wasn't the biggest dude, but I made plays. So that's where they wanted me, and when I got older, I wasn't big enough to actually play that position. So then they moved me to safety, and it was a downhill safety the whole time because I would just come down and
Smacking kids.
yeah, and then I ended up fucking up my shoulder, and then they moved me to corner for the playoffs, and then I just
Killed it
left
from
me
there.
Yeah.
But then what happened with the bogus injury? The fibula and you tore ligaments. Wasn't that
yeah.
weren't you even supposed you weren't even supposed to be in the game anymore?
Nah, it was so our coaches because our senior year I don't think we finished the game.
Okay.
Like we never.
No.
I think
Yeah, you guys were winning by like 60 a game or
Yeah.
something, right?
First half, the game was first quarter, the game was over with. Trust me, it was.
It was. So we were playing. It was crazy. It was actually the night of like my winter formal. We were playing some shitty racing team or something like that, and our coaches like we were beating them like 40-0 or some shit. It was crazy. So our coach was just gonna let us finish the half and then we were done.
Yeah.
So that was it. And it was a kick return. And Mel thinks it's his fault to this day, but it wasn't. Because he was my lead blocker, but I just outran him.
Yeah.
But, I was running and I was returning the ball. I got it all the way to, like, their 20. And, like, some dude horse-collared me and, like, fell on my leg and it snapped. Yeah, so I had to go to the hospital right then and there and then get surgery. I, like, broke my fibula, ankle, and like tore like 5 ligaments or whatever.
Damn.
Yeah, all in the game that was.
And
over.
where were the ligaments at? Was it at the bottom or was it at the top?
Bottom.
Bottom. Well, is that better? That's probably better than your knee.
Yeah, it's better than your knee.
God
Yeah.
damn.
And then he still ran a 4.24.
God, you see, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, did you come back for track?
I did, but it wasn't that good though.
Good enough to run a 4.24.
Right, like I hate motherfuckers that's just like, yeah, it was all right, and like you just ran a 4.2. Like I love to run a 4.2. Give me the 4.2
Yeah, you can't even run a 6 anymore, boy.
Okay, come on, don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect me.
I'd say like 3rd at state, but it's cool.
That's so. I mean, the other thing that I was reading, I want to get into your relationship with Melvin Gordon too, but I heard that ultra competitive between you two, and he loves to tell everybody that he beats you and everything. That's what the article said. But then in the quotes right afterwards, it said, "I'm better than you at Madden. I'm faster than you. I got drafted higher than you."
That's what I said, or he said.
This
that?
is all on ESPN. This is what you said to him after he was telling
yeah.
you he was trying to say we're even, and then you started shaking your head. You said, "F that. I'm better than him."
Facts tell.
So what's that competitive thing like? It's been like that since, because you guys met in the 7th grade, right?
Yeah, it was 7 or 6, yeah.
And then it just escalated from there. Always been around each other, always competing. He pushed you pushed him. Okay.
Yeah, that's something, like I said, that just elevated our level of play, just because, like I was saying, like we'd always do that extra shit. Like,
Yeah.
It would be the weekend. We go to Carthage, do drills, like something.
Yeah.
And then we'd always be at each other's houses, like lifting weights. Like we'd always like work out with his dad. Like we'd just go to his house, and his dad would just put us through some crazy ass bullshit ass workouts. Yeah.
I heard about Bo's workouts.
Yeah, like there was one time he made us, like, I'm not even making this up. He made us like take a bench press bar and put like 45-pound weights on it and curl it. Like he made us curl that. Like, so it's just like this shit, cause he used to be a bodybuilder. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
He a big dude himself.
I heard he
And,
was
like,
huge, but I didn't know he was a bodybuilder.
He put us through like a lot of fucked up workouts.
So how old were you when you were curling? Would that be 135?
I don't even know. It was high school. It was like our junior, senior year in high school. And he would like do like bench press with us. Like I remember one time we were benching in the basement, and he just sat down and put 3 plates on and started repping it. Like without, you know what I'm saying?
No warm up.
We were just.
And at that point, do you feel like he was doing it because he wanted like you guys to be bigger, faster, stronger? Or was he
let
like,
you know
I'm just
he's
getting
the
this
man.
workout in either way, and y'all kids are here, so you gonna
Well, I mean, he was really training us.
Yeah.
But then he just sat down, just did it, and I was like, shit. We was struggling to get it at once, and he just repping it. I'm like, all right, cool.
God. So I mean, Melvin's a huge dude,
He big too.
and you were doing everything he's doing back then. I mean, he's probably got like what 50 pounds on you.
Well, I mean, he can squat more than me.
Okay.
I mean, just because I hate squatting and all that shit, but I was usually better than bench, or we was about the same. So, but his thing was like, he was a weight room warrior. Like, he
Okay.
was a gym rat, and like I was too, but like I was more like laxed about it. So I would like bring my phone and do all some other shit, and he'd always like make jokes like, man, why you always got your phone? Man? I don't do more than just lift weights.
So was it crazy experiencing that with your best friend being, he was 4 picks after you with the Chargers? What was that like? I mean, your parents were there. His parents, I don't know. His dad might not have been there at the time, but his mom was there. I mean, what was that like being 2 kids from Kenosha? You're the first group of high school teammates drafted since 1990.
That shit was cool. I mean, it was a big relief, just because, like I said, it was something, we were working for, since 6th, 7th grade, and like, it's kind of how free agency is. Like, it's gonna be a relief when it's over because it's something we've been working for.
Yeah.
Our whole lives. You know what I'm saying? Because like the first contract's cool, but nobody.
It's not real bread.
It ain't really real.
Until your fifth year, you're getting paid.
Not like that.
You still
Not in
getting
comparison
nice,
to-
not
Yeah,
compared to
not
what you're
comparison,
about to
yeah.
get. But I mean, the first 4 years, I'm saying that's tough. But then that 5th year is actually a kind of nice little bump, at least before the real payday.
Well, no, because if they didn't pick it up, then I could have
Yeah,
got paid
Right.
then.
yeah.
And like my agent was hoping they didn't pick it up, so I could get paid earlier.
Are you thinking about that going into this new CBA deal? Are you thinking like, hey, I don't know if I really want to sign something long term with this new CBA coming in? If they might bring in another $100 million per team or something, they're saying.
No, so like a lot of teams are trying to wait just because cap space. Like for instance, the Vikings have no fucking money.
No,
right.
Um,
A couple broke bitches.
So it's like a lot of teams are trying to hold off for that, so more people can get paid and paid more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care. Like I just want my money.
You cool with 17 games?
No.
That would be. I would
No,
X
I
that
cool
out.
with
I would already
16
say.
games.
Oh, 16. What would be your
Cut the
ideal?
preseason.
right.
What would be your ideal number?
So I think 16 would be cool if they took out the preseason. Cause
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
4 or 5 extra games.
I mean, you guys really only play one half of one game in that whole thing,
Exactly.
anyways.
But we still gotta go through the practices,
Yup.
the camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's pointless. You
But
know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
adding 17 is gonna make the game worse. I feel like you're gonna have
They
people
gotta throw
doing
in, like,
load
an extra
management
bye
and
week
shit.
or
Well, I heard
something.
something like players were only allowed to fully play 16 or something like that. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but
It's a scam to get you to get to 18.
it's just
That's what the scam
it's
is.
dumb. I think they're contradicting themselves about making the game safer,
Yep.
and then they add games, and it's like motherfuckers barely make it through the season anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
For real.
you're just like, cause you gotta think like, you say you make it through 17 games or whatever. And it's like you make it healthy, but then you add 16 games, and you add a 17 game, and it's like, oh, you tear your ACL.
Plus playoffs.
Yeah, plus playoffs.
Plus
Like,
playoffs.
damn.
that
It's
could
hard to
ruin-
be healthy, and
That could ruin somebody's career, and it's like
for sure.
football is not ideal anyway for the human body.
No.
Like we're put in positions, like movement positions that our bodies aren't accustomed to do,
No.
and we're like hitting people every fucking play,
Yeah.
and then we get a couple days to recover before we do it all again. Like, it's not something that we're meant to do.
Yeah.
And you're adding on top of that already. So it's like, all right, you're just going to shorten careers. So,
Oh, for sure. I mean, they're definitely doing that. And the unfortunate part is I know they're trying to extend the benefits for players after the retirement benefits. But, I mean, they should take care of you for life.
I mean,
There's too much money in the league. They should take care of you for life. It doesn't even make sense to not do it. Medical bills should be taken care of. I saw another big thing that I actually thought was cool is they're getting rid of weed as being something you can be punished for. Like, it's going to be illegal.
Stupid.
Shouldn't be
It
punished
been-
for it
should've
anyway.
been illegal 20 years
They-
ago.
Yeah, and then they try to throw it in with like, oh, if we had a 17th game, we're not going to test
Yeah.
it. Like, no, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Don't
Nah.
act like you're doing us a favor.
Well, the other crazy thing, too, is with that 17th game, they're going to do the playoffs where it's only going to be one team from each side having a bye week.
Yeah.
And that team's going to have 29 days off before they play again.
What?
Imagine having it's 21 or 22 right now. It's going to be 29 days before you play another game. Imagine what your team, first of all, you might be rusty,
You're going to be rusty.
Yeah.
but then on top of that, you will probably be healthy.
You'll be healthy, but you'll be rusty, too.
See, I can't imagine that game.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That sounds stupid to me.
Do you feel like you and the guys here, I mean, you could speak for the guys you're on the team with the 53-man roster, what you guys all collectively think? I mean, I'm guessing a lot of you think alike. But I mean,
it's mixed. I mean, there's a lot of guys that really love this game. So, I mean, I'm sure they won't mind, but I know some guys feel exactly how I feel. Like, it's hard to get through a 16-game season plus playoffs, plus preseason. So that's like, 20-plus games right there.
And you've
and
had
the farther you go into the playoffs, the shorter your break time is.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you add another game on top of that.
And you've played a lot of games because of coming into this team where, I mean, first season you guys were 13-3, right? So, I mean, you got thrusted in, like you said, redshirted, but you got thrusted in to start, I think, the second half because Terrence got hurt. And then your first pick of your career against Russell Wilson, what was that like? That had to be
cool.
nuts.
That was cool. Like, me and Russ, we cool because he went to Wisconsin. I've trained with him a couple times. So, so I like playing against him. He's a fun guy. He's a great competitor. And, it's always good talking to him after the games, too.
You let him know? Like, hey, man, thanks for that ball? Or what do you say?
I don't really talk shit. I mean, I was talking to Stafford about that shit. He said I owed him one because he threw me a late pick against the Lions or whatever. But it's cool.
Each pick, you should just have him sign the ball. Be like, hey, thanks for donating to the Trae Waynes Fund. It's funny, you know what I mean? Like,
It's funny. I remember texting Trae after that interception against the Lions. I'm like, I see how you got that footwork in. He was like, yeah, Tony two-tap. You got those toes in.
Yeah, I'm surprised I did, actually.
I mean, you've also picked off Aaron Rodgers. You've picked off a lot of good quarterbacks. You faced a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFC.
Everybody in our conference.
Yeah, I mean,
division.
Bears, man.
Oh, no.
Woof. I'm not really messing with them. I'm not jiving with that. But I mean, you see a lot of good cornerbacks every year. Is it when you get out there, you kind of like? I mean, I don't think you can ever get starstruck in that game because you belong. Like anybody who's in the league's like, hey, I'm here for a reason. But I mean, when you go in there, you see Randy Moss quote saying, "Oh my God, I gotta stand up. I gotta watch this. This is Brett Favre." You know what I mean? You ever get like that?
Not no more. Just, I mean, I faced them all. Like, I faced, the best quarterbacks in our league to this day. So it's like, I see Aaron Rodgers fucking 2 times a year. You don't really get better than that.
He's scary, man.
So, it's cool.
Is it weird seeing how, and I mean, last year I think was the first real big statistics as to why the money side for the QBs is too obscure. Like, I think it was 8 out of 10 of the highest paid quarterbacks didn't even make the playoffs last year. Is it weird seeing these teams, I don't want to say tank or anything like that, but not produce because of that? I mean, you're seeing it affect every other position on the field. You just love it. You don't
I mean, it's not weird. It's because it's a business.
Right.
And so, it just comes with it.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes about to get goddamn
200.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
That's crazy.
I mean,
Monster.
it's deserved, but you know what I'm saying? So, it's just going to be harder for them to
Win.
re-sign other players.
Right.
Just because, I mean, look at our situation, Not mad at Kurt. Get yours. Like, that's my boy.
Right.
We went to college together, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it makes it harder for other positions to get paid. But like I said, I'm not mad. I've done the same shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a business, and, you got to do it for your fans.
Right, and because if you take a discount for the team, like there's nothing that's gonna guarantee them allocating that money to a different
That's
position to make the
what I'm
team
saying.
go. So you got to
Loyalty.
get yours.
So.
Bro, yeah, the selfish side of me wishes you come back on a discount, but we got no money, and I'm like, hey man, as a real, I want you to get paid. So I get it.
Out of there.
Yeah.
Where are you thinking? What's like on the parameters of free agency for you? Like, where are you thinking you might be?
I don't know if I can say that.
You can't. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Other-
I'm just not gonna speak on it. But
Okay.
I mean, Q know.
Okay.
I told him.
Okay.
Other than money, what are some of the factors that you're looking at when looking at other teams? Like, is it mostly like system? Is it guys on the team? Location? You don't care. You just
Because someone had asked me that, and I was like, I'm not looking like I'm looking for the highest bidder. Because, like I said before, playing in the Vikings defense, I'm not worried about a system. We played every fucking coverage there is.
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they put us in man 0, 3, 2. So I'm used to playing that. And then like I'm a guy I could get along with anybody.
Yeah.
But like my thing is like I'm there to do my job and go home. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't really. It's not like college where like you're living with your teammates and shit like that. So and like especially when you got a family, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I ain't trying
right.
to. I'm just trying to go home. So
See your
like
family.
I don't really hang around after practice and meetings anyways. But I'm an easy dude to get along with anyways. So like I'm not worried about not fitting in or what system I'm going to. But like one thing that will take into effect of things is just location, like
Yeah.
state income tax. Like
Yeah.
for example, if I went to Oakland
Yep.
compared to here, I'd make 10% more just off of taxes.
Well, now they're in Vegas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Vegas. So it's
Yeah.
like one of my buddies was joking, like, would you stay here or go to Oakland? I was like, I go to Oakland.
Hell yeah.
I'd make more money.
Yeah.
Like, we're 10%
Yeah.
Y'all killing me in taxes.
How hard? Oh yeah, this is the worst
That's
state
what I'm
to be
saying.
in,
So
bro.
it's like
Yeah.
it's a no brainer. Like
Yeah.
it would be cool to stay. Yeah, I'm established, but I'd save what's
Business.
the math? Like $1.5 million a year.
Oh god, yeah.
Damn.
Just
yeah,
by
I'm
going
out too.
somewhere with
Bro, and you,
you know.
Go
That's
ahead.
like I have a couple of former teammates that are in the league, and they talked about like the first time they got their check and they see all the taxes taken out, and they're
man,
like, "What was that feeling like?"
I called my mom.
Is this right? This don't look right. I thought there was more zeros.
Well, cause it's like back then I was still a resident of Wisconsin. And
Yeah.
Wisconsin's not as high as here.
Yeah.
I got my shit back. It was like 800,000. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I was like,
Yeah.
Mom, this ain't right. She's
Wait,
like,
that they took
"Yeah."
out 800,000?
Yeah.
So they take it out before you even get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I,
You know what,
and then
that's
I
actually-
moved here, and it was even more. I was like, this is bullshit. So I called my financial guy, like he's not with us anymore. He had passed away, but I was like, yo, like,
R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
I need to put my shit in offshore accounts. Like,
Yeah.
what's some illegal shit I can do? Because they robbing me.
I think you have to
know what I'm
spend more than half the year at another location.
I don't know what it was. I was trying to get offshore accounts on some fucking gangster shit. So I'm like, I'll risk it. They're taking all my fucking money. So I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I didn't do it.
Right.
He didn't let me do it, but
I
I
think
think
we're one of the. I think we're worst top 3
Oh, it's-
worst
yeah,
tax
we're like
states.
one of the worst.
And I
Dude.
know Mel getting killed too.
Oh, I believe it.
San Diego or he in LA.
So are you thinking like? I mean, a good spot would probably be Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
I
ain't-
mean,
you
I
know,
mean,
state income
that
tax,
would be
Florida.
Cool. Like I'm saying, they got a couple, no state income places, but honestly, I'm gonna just go with the highest bidder.
Yeah,
So, it could be Buffalo for all I care. I'd rather not go there, but
Buffalo would actually be nice though. And the
Why
reason
would
why I
they-
say
why
that
would-
you
why would
and
Buffalo
and
be nice?
Tre'Davious and Leslie Frazier there,
yeah,
no,
but
Buffalo
I mean,
would not be nice.
you
The
gotta
weather.
their
though.
defense is not. Yeah,
And their
living
offense is
there would
sorry.
be nice.
but you gotta
But I'm
think,
saying-
how many teams got 2 paid corners? Like you just don't get that.
No.
Yeah,
It
I
just
mean,
doesn't happen.
Usually it's just one, lock down one side of the field, then you scheme up the other half
Yeah.
to cover everybody.
Yeah,
you don't
but I
really
mean,
see
it's
that.
happened. You used to see it a lot. You used to see. I mean, AJ Bouye and Jalen, but he was on his rookie
a
deal.
rookie.
Yeah, so I mean, you do see it,
There's a reason
but not
why.
often. Yeah, they weren't gonna be able to pay him.
Exactly.
No.
No, but I mean, yeah, all right. I mean, I think it'd be fun to watch it. I mean, do you think about going back, like, to see Leslie? Leslie's I mean, everybody knows him as a super nice guy.
Never met him.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were Zimmer's first. You were actually part of one of the best draft classes we've had most recently. You Eric, Daniil, and Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan, yeah.
Yeah, and Ant was a undrafted free agent then. Yeah, I mean, you guys actually kept us going. We would have been done by age a long time ago.
Right. Did Zim ever make you wear the boxing gloves in practice?
Nah, that
Like
was all
Xavier?
Zay.
Just because, what was it like? Because he was holding on to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, he had the blinders. Yeah,
Dude,
The what?
you were-
they
like,
put like these fucking like horse blinders on the helmet, so you don't like look at the quarterback.
Really?
Yeah,
No shit.
I'm sure it's a lot of interesting things
yeah,
we
how
don't
does that-
see or hear about.
yeah, how does that come off
Yeah.
with like the guys? Is that like something that actually helps you, or are you like,
You guys be
okay, coach
clowning
is just
them.
trying to like
No,
make a
it
point?
helps, but we definitely make fun of them though when it happens. No, it's little things that help though.
That's dope.
What's some of the crazier stories behind the scenes like that? Like, I mean, I'm not saying to dog anybody, but I'm saying like, there's got to be a lot of unheard stories to us that we never get to hear that you get to experience as an actual player on the team. Just like the camaraderie type shit.
I mean, it's cool. I ain't gonna talk about like the position trips we take. That's a little
Oh,
crazy.
you guys got the, like the little banana
you just
boat
came back
type
from
Miami
the
Heat.
Fury and Tyson, or
Nah, that was
Tyson
cool.
Fury
Yeah, that
and
was
Wilder
cool.
fight.
That wasn't really a DB trip though. There was a couple of us out there though.
Okay.
That was fun though. But
The 45-pound suit
yeah,
took his legs out.
I'm trying to think. Like you talking about like crazy stories or like?
Well, it doesn't have to be like crazy.
we're not
Again, I
talking
don't want
like
to get anybody
Love
in
Boat
trouble.
back in
Yeah,
the
we don't
day.
got to hear about Mike Tice back in the day having to deal with all that Bryant McKinney and the crazier stuff that was going on with Fred Smoot. But I'm just saying, like that same kind of deal. Your boy threw on the boxing gloves and the blinders on him to put him in his place in practice type deal.
I mean,
Because the hazing, you can't really haze anymore, right?
nah, I don't think. I mean, they didn't really do that to me. They liked me as a rookie though. They just made me do a couple shit. But one thing I had to do, I had to take. Like we all had to go to Vegas, and I had to cover one night.
Yeah.
One whole night. And luckily, Cap, you know, he looked out. He was like, you know, since he was a good rookie, you just take care of one night instead of the whole trip. I get the rest. So I had to, you know, we all went out to the club and shit, and like, I had to pay for tables, bottles, and I think that night cost around like $12,000.
God.
But
It's actually not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was
No,
gonna be.
it wasn't that bad.
So how long was the trip? You said one night.
It was like we was there for like two, 3 nights.
Oh,
But they made like one of the things they made me do. They made me rent a fucking party bus to go down the street. So that was like $2,000, and I'm like, you can just Uber exit. We're not going nowhere.
Logically.
Yeah, like, so I did that, but Terrence showed me he had a receipt from a dinner, and he said that was like fucking $60,000.
God
They made the
damn.
rookie pay. And they like Terrence was telling me things. He was saying like if you were a bad rookie, like they would invite like just random people, and they said like random people like would show up like on the team, and they would start ordering like steaks to bring home for their dogs. Like,
Oh,
just,
no.
just
Nah.
shit like that. Yeah, they
No,
not
sir.
even for them, just to give it to their dog, and just.
Oh
stuff
man,
like
I'd be
that.
living, bro. Everybody'd hate me because I'd be trying to fight everybody.
Yeah, so I mean, shit like that. I mean, there's some things I can't say, but I mean that's, you know, a given. But like there was one time I think with Treadwell, like he kept parking in like Teddy's spot at the whole facility. So Teddy, what he did, I don't know what it was. He ordered like. I think it was Skittles or something, or it was some sort of candy.
I think I remember this
And
on
filled
the,
his whole brand new Range Rover full
Yeah.
of it, like just full of it, because he kept parking in his shit. Yeah,
How do you do with that?
like, what are you gonna do? You're a rookie.
right.
just took it.
Because I remember seeing that on ESPN. And they
I've been
had
eating
where
them
he was
shits.
just Skittles just pouring out of his Range Rover.
Yeah,
Like-
he's like, fuck.
He's probably still picking Skittles out of that Range Rover.
Bro, I'd be all about them Skittles. I like Skittles. I'd be like, thanks, man. Thank you. I appreciate that gift.
I bet you wouldn't
No,
like
you
a car full of them
right.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, you can test me.
especially
If
like
you
you
guys
get
got
done-
enough money to go buy a bunch
No.
of Skittles, throw them in my
Dude,
truck.
if
See
you
how I
got done
react.
with practice, you're like, damn, we just put in some work.
out of Uber.
Now I'm
I'd have
going.
left it
I'm
there
trying to
and
go
figured it
home
out
and go
later.
to sleep, and I'm open. No. We And I bet you tell you
they
this,
gave me-
never
well,
parking there again.
So Cap and Zay, they gave me a lot of shit.
Yeah.
As a rookie because of my car.
What were you driving?
Some bullshit ass Lexus from 20 years ago. Like it's older than me. Like I had it from college and shit. And like they just kept like, why the fuck you driving that shit? You first round like this. Like, I'm good. So like they made me literally get a whole new car because
They pick it out?
No, they didn't pick it out.
Okay.
I'm saying, but they was on me so hard about it. It's like, babe, I gotta go get a fucking car.
You should
leave me alone.
You should have trolled him and got like some ugly ass van or some
Nah, I
shit.
ain't doing that. That's Kurt.
He does do that.
Yeah.
You could have got yourself a Prius to really fuck with him.
Nah, someone, CJ, Charles Johnson, he used to drive the fucking little electric car. And I was like,
Dude, I used to hoop with Charles.
man, I don't know how he fit in it, but
Yeah, he's huge. Dude, he looks like a DN. He doesn't even look like a receiver.
he's a big dude.
He's actually really weird. When I first met him in person, I didn't even think he was who he was.
Mm-mm.
I was really like, bro, you're fucking with me. You're not him. Like, you're a DN or something, man.
He big. He big dude.
He looks like he weighs 260, bro. He's just huge. Big body. Him and Cheryl's and Cordero Patterson and Matt Asiata used to come hoop with us all the time. And Marcus is actually low-key, dude. He give you fits, bro.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, Q.
I'm not letting no football player give me fits.
Bro, I would
on
love to line that up because Marcus is low-key.
Yeah.
He's a hooper, bro.
We got a couple guys that can hoop. For real.
There
Who's
was
the best hooper on the team?
On the team, Kentrell's gonna say him. So, Kentrell brothers. He's not bad, but I'll probably say Rudy just because he actually played.
Oh, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, he used to play, so I'll say Rudy.
Okay. There was a kid who was I can't remember his name. I know. I talk to him every once in a while on Twitter. He had this nasty Euro. I think he was a receiver, but then I think you guys waived him right after that. But Cordero was a terrible hooper who thought he could hoop.
Yeah, we got a couple of them too.
Oh my God, he was the worst.
Mac think he can hoop. He can't hoop.
You guys play a lot? You guys get your own runs
We
in?
used to, yeah. We usually play during like OTAs and stuff.
Okay.
we'll
And they
go
let
out.
you guys?
Well, I mean, so some of our coaches tell us to,
Really?
just because of like the footwork and moving laterally and just it helps with your hips. So they encourage it sometimes. So.
Okay. So after practice, you're trying to get out there. You're trying to get back to your house. I know you got with your girls. You're soon to be 3 girls now in your family.
Mm-hmm.
You got 3 dogs too,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Aries, Apollo, and Roma,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of them are adopted. And is it Roma?
From Spain.
So what's the story behind that?
So I like that breed. She's a cane corse, so I like them, and like I like Dogos, which I thought Aries was.
Okay.
Which is why we got him. And
Dogos are scary, dog, bro. They'll like kill a
Yeah.
boar.
yeah.
Yeah, I seen that.
But I was like, I'll start with Aries first. But so we went to the shelter randomly with no intention of getting a dog. We were just like, babe, let's just go look.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said Dogo mix. I'm like, shut the fuck up. So I'm like, babe, like I'm not gonna find a purebred like anywhere over here. Like just think about it. You know what I'm saying?
I need this.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take a mix. You know, it's a start. So I mean, he like was checking off all the boxes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like with the skin color. You know, with how he was shaped, and with the mix, like he's big, but he wasn't gonna get as big as a Dogo. But like, hey, let's do it. So the next day, I mean, he interacted with our daughter like awesome. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't aggressive. He was born in a shelter. So the next day we ended up going to get him, and we get him tested like ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fucking pit boxer.
Really?
Wasn't even fucking. I said, let's return him.
How you gonna return a shelter dog?
Like, they lied to me. You know what I'm saying? Like sue them or something. I was hot, but I mean we didn't get rid of him though. But yeah. So that was that. And then for Roma, there's this really big time breeder that I followed. Because I really thought about getting one. So like I followed him for a while, and I knew he was in Spain, but I didn't know what part. And we were in Spain, Barcelona for like our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And like one of the days, like we didn't have anything going on, so we're like, hey, like let's go check out like a shelter, see what the dogs look like here, you know, because I mean they're different overseas than they are here,
Yeah.
because how they breed them and stuff like that. So we couldn't really find one. I was like, hold on, like I think that like I know the dude I followed is somewhere in Spain. I wonder how far it is from here, and it happened to be the exact same city we were in. Coincidentally, like we had no intention on going there to get a dog, like at all. So then I was like, babe, like, let's go check him out. She was like, all right, fine. So like we got in contact with them, and it cost $1,200 for his A-list clients just to come look. Just to look at him. I was
Just
like,
to, like,
look.
So did you tell him?
I was like, I ain't doing that shit. So I was like, what? My thing is like, what if I don't get it? You know,
Right, now I
no.
just wasted $1,200
Yeah,
for nothing.
no.
That's a normal reaction, though, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
so
normal.
I'm like, nah. I was like, you can send me pictures and videos and shit.
FaceTime me.
It's not that serious.
Because it wasn't, because we wanted to just go look. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
plan on getting a fucking dog. And then, you know, he was sending us pictures and stuff. And then, like, me and my girl were back and forth about getting one. And she was like, no, like, I don't want one. I was like, babe, like, come on, like, let's get it. And then she was like, all right, fine. So then, but she was like, but if I let you get this dog, you got to give me 4 kids. So I'm like,
Deal.
all right.
Sign me up.
Well, I said, I don't want 4 fucking kids, though. But I said, okay, because I'm hoping. After,
should.
like,
That she
kid-
don't really want 4 kids.
Yeah, I'm hoping after like 2
Remember
or
how
3,
bad that hurt, baby?
So-
You sure you want to do that again?
Well, it's not even that. I'm hoping that, you know, our next kid, I mean, Layla already on her way, but I hope they just become too much. Because they're going to be like me. And I was a shithead like as a kid. So I'm hoping, she's like, damn, I don't want 5 of you motherfuckers running around. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need 3 or 4. Like, so I'm good with 2 to 3. So I'm hoping, you know,
It'll work
I'll
out.
say that's a hell of a negotiation, though.
Yeah.
On her part. On her
She
part.
picked you, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping my qualities come out a little more as they get older. And she's like, I can't handle this.
Right. You're going to have to start, like, telling your kids, okay, here's what I need you to do. I need you to start
Yeah.
acting up
Yeah.
with mom. Because
So we ended up, so we ended up agreeing on getting the dog. So then we told the dude, all right, we want him.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, it's gonna be $7,000. I said, fuck that. And I looked at my girl, I ain't doing that shit. I'm not doing that either. And like, $7,000? No, nigga, like, no.
So what did you end up saying to him?
So I was like, nah, I'm good. And then over the next day or two, like me and my girl were talking, she's like, Trae, like, just get it. Like, you can afford it. Like, who cares? Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Fuck it. So we ended up getting it because I was like, nah, I ain't texting him back. Like, fuck him.
You didn't even be like, hey, I'll give you 5. You didn't hit him with that?
Nah, because he's like a really high breeder,
Mhm.
like of that.
Yeah.
That. So it's like he breeds them for like shows and like Roma's dad actually won, you know, worlds in Milan.
Oh,
previously.
really?
So you know,
Damn.
she comes from
Good breed.
Yeah.
good bloodline. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really, you know, negotiate. You know that.
Yeah.
right. And for him, he's probably like, most
You
people
know
are
who
like,
I
oh,
am?
$7,000, no problem. Here you go.
Yeah.
And
So
so-
I ended up getting her.
know that.
You know, that was cool. And then her dumb ass almost killed herself, which was stupid because so the season just started, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it was nothing on our end. So
Yeah.
she was outside playing. Like, mind you, she is a bottomless fucking pit. Like,
Yeah, 14 pounds of meat a day, right?
not-
That's what
not
I
a
heard.
day, but so we get
Between the 3, that's
yeah,
what
so
you're.
we go through probably 10 pounds a day. Oh my god. I would say a day between a day or 2, but we get I think we get a shipment every couple weeks of 60 pounds of meat just for them. There's
How
only-
much does that set you back? What's the grocery bill for dumb dogs?
It's actually cheaper than just getting dog food because they started getting like really picky with some of the dog food that they were eating and weren't eating
Okay.
at all and shit like that. So it's really cheaper. But yeah, so she's 9 months and she's 95 pounds right now.
She's a beast.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about her bloodline, so I'm gonna have to start treating Roma with a little more royalty when I come around.
She a fucking asshole.
Man,
But so back to the story, like, so she was outside, just like our, there's nothing crazy about our yard, it's fenced in, the other dogs were out there, and one night she was acting weird, and like she wasn't eating, which is not like her because she eats like she's fucking starving. Like, something ain't right. So my girl ended up waking up at like 1 a.m, took her to the hospital, and it was actually their fault. So they were like, well, it's nothing she ate because she's not throwing up or gagging. We're like, well, she hasn't eaten anything. That's why. Like, she's dry heaving, but nothing's coming up because she has an empty stomach. So they were doing all these random ass tests on her for no reason. When it turns out she ate a fucking stick. She swallowed an 8-inch stick whole.
Holy
Damn.
shit.
That could have, tore up all her
because
insides.
it punctured her stomach.
Holy shit.
So it messed a whole bunch of things up. But, like, they didn't see that till, like, fucking day 3. And when I went in, and I was like, she had just came out of surgery, and it wasn't even for that. And I was like, why does she sound like this? Like, they're like, oh, well, this is how, they usually sound after surgery. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I was under anesthesia, too. I did not sound like this. Like, something ain't right. Like, so then they went back again. They took x-rays on her stomach, finally, when they could have done that from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, so I had left. I was going to practice, right? And my girl was like, okay, well, they said everything's fine. Right after practice, she calls me, like, bawling. Like, she's going into emergency surgery. Like, she has a 50-50 chance to live. And, so I was like, what the fuck? You just said everything was fine. But they didn't know it was a stick until, like, right before then. But this could have been avoided.
Yeah.
They just did the proper procedures. But, so long story short is they were going to charge us like $25,000 for the surgery. I was like, all right, like whatever. And Kira's like, just whatever, save my fucking dog. And they kept like, are you sure? And she's like, look, we have the fucking money. Save my dog. Like,
and we already paid $7,000 for the dog.
Yeah. Keep my dog alive.
Dropping.
I'm like, this place gonna cost me like 30-something thousand, like whatever. So like, but like after going through everything though, like we got a lot of it back because it was. They messed up.
Yeah.
Because we brought them in, we told them of the scenario. They just never
did what they're supposed to do. Didn't take the X-rays.
Because we have
so
a
malpractice basically.
Yeah, well, we have a vet that comes to the house, and then we have a dog trainer that was there too, and they were both like really upset about it because they were like, "What the fuck are they doing?" So they were making phone calls on our behalf. So we got a lot of money back, but that could have been a very expensive, short-lived pet.
God damn.
So, yeah. She's good now, though. Like, she's good, but...
Bro, I can't even imagine.
She's a fucking pain.
It's a pain. So what about the other dog?
They're easy.
No, well, you said you had one more story about your other
Apollo.
one, too. How you got
Apollo?
Yeah.
just play fetch. Just play fetch
Like
with him.
fetch?
No,
You about it?
My fucking roommate, it was really his dog. So, cause his cousin, like, bred him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he wanted a dog. So I was like, all right. And he's like, you want to come down and, come with me to Cincy to pick him up? I said, sure, cool. So we, like, drove to Cincy in college and got him. And, like, we were still playing football at the time. And, my girl, like, Kira, like, we were dating. She was babysitting him a lot. And I'm like,
Stop babysitting him?
Yeah, because I'm like, because we're gone with class, football, practice, all that shit. And, like, it got to the point, Dre was like, I can't take care of him because I'm not home enough. He's like, I'm going to put him on Craigslist or some shit. And
She wasn't having it.
Sure enough, my girl said, nah, fuck that. Like, we'll take him. I'm like, no. But, like, I couldn't tell her that because we weren't living together.
Yeah.
Because I saw this coming. I'm like, stop. Like, 'cause you going to get attached. So we got stuck with him. That's how we got stuck with him. So.
And it's just snowball.
Right, downhill from there.
Snowballed, yeah.
Because you guys do a lot of volunteering, actually, at the shelter, like the dog shelters and stuff like that. Her family was really big on that growing up?
Yeah, her family was. And I grew up doing it, too. I'd always go to the shelter, fuck around with the dogs or something, take them on walks. So.
I actually got to connect you with a buddy of mine, Marty Melberg. He runs it's called, I think it's pronounced Dioggi but I think I mean I call it doggy, right? And basically they have like shirts for people who actually love their dog and stuff like that. It sounds crazier if you saw it. It's more fly than what it sounds like.
I know what you mean.
But part of the proceeds go to the shelters.
Okay.
So I think that'd be something you guys would be a cool link if you're interested in that.
Yeah, my girl would like.
Yeah, shit. I thought that'd be a good one to set up.
And like whether it's like the shelters or the boys and girls clubs or the camps you do with Melvin Gordon and stuff like that, like was it always something that was important to you to kind of give back? Or was there somebody like when you were a kid that gave back?
It's more Mel for real.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like yeah, I mean it really started with Mel. I would go back and I would like, cause both my parents, they work in the school, so I would go back and I would like talk to the kids and shit like that. But I mean, all this other stuff is really him, just because. I mean, my experience, being, an like a professional athlete, and stuff like that, compared to his experience is way different. Like, I didn't really get the support that he really got. So just from our community, I mean, Q knows, just growing up, like I didn't really care about it, but like I just took it like, I didn't get it, I ain't giving it back type shit.
Yeah.
Cause I've always been like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, like whatever. But so growing up, it was all, Mel, which is cool because, it fit our personalities. Like my thing is like I didn't care to be in the spotlight, even though like I knew I should have been. And like he was always in it, but he's a people person, he likes interacting with people, like just stuff like it fit our personalities. And so growing up, it was like, I knew I had support, but it wasn't really like emphasized like it was for him. Like it was like, yeah, like it's Melvin Gordon, like he went to Wisconsin, he's gonna do great there, he's gonna go to the league. Like my thing was like, oh, cool, like he's going to Michigan State. He might make it to a Division I college. He might play well there. But he probably won't make it past there. So it was like, yeah, the support was there, but it was like,
how big was that middle finger though? When you finally got, I mean, is that really why you don't want to go back? You'd be like, hey.
It was cool because I mean, Mel knew it too though. But like
he's your number one fan, it sounds like.
Yeah, but like he knew what people didn't. And like he saw what people didn't. And he said, like when we were coming out, he was like, it's sad to say, like a lot of people didn't really believe in me, which was true. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it was just because of all the adversity with my position, like my size, like all that stuff. And even my coach didn't think I could play Division I. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, so it was like he said in an interview, he was like, a lot of people didn't really, believe me. Like I said, like they were like, oh yeah, like, he's doing it, but he ain't gonna really do anything with it. You know what I'm saying? To where it was him, it was like, oh yeah, he's gonna do this, he's going here, he's doing all this, you know what I'm saying? So like in my head, I'm like, fuck him.
That's gotta light the fire though.
I mean, it wasn't really.
I mean, I feel like that'd be some good
put
motivation.
A chip on your shoulder.
I mean, it was a good motivation, but it was like my thing was like, I ain't worried about y'all anyways, cause it's not my job to take care of y'all. It's not my job to, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a do me, take care of my family, like make sure I'm good. Like whatever everybody else, like ain't my problem.
Yeah.
But cause I didn't even want to go back and do anything. But like Mel, like I said, it's a personality thing. He convinced me to come back. He's like, come on, like, come do the camp with me. Like, I'll, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, all right, fine. And, like, my thing is, like, for what? Like, y'all didn't back me up, so I'm not going to back y'all up. But I'm backing him up because I know, it's important to him. And, my parents pushed to do it, too. Like, they're like, you should do this. It's like, for what?
Sometimes, though, that's the best way to tell someone F you. To really rub their nose in it, like, look where I'm at,
you guys
man.
didn't believe me, now you're sending your kids to my camp.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but
I love that.
I'm petty, though.
Hey, that's the best way to be petty, though.
But I'm saying, it's because Wisconsin, like, because we wanted to go to college together.
That was the next question I was going to bring up.
And, I wasn't really highly recruited. Like I said, I had to go to all these camps. And I went to a Wisconsin camp, like, my junior year, or before that. And, I wasn't on their radar. And, what did it for me was, they started coming around after all these other colleges started coming around. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what? Like, no. And then they ended up offering Vontae, like, before me. I'm like, fuck y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm right in your backyard. Y'all ain't paying me no attention. And then, Illinois, Iowa State, Michigan State, I started getting these offers, and then they came around.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, come to our camp. I'm like, fuck y'all. I'm not coming to your camp. For what? I went to your camp 2 years ago. Like, I ain't coming back.
Yeah.
For what? And then my mom was like, Trae, just go to the camp, get an offer, and say no. I said, hell yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Sweet revenge.
Kick down the door to camp.
I'm going to do that.
And then play against them.
Right.
And lock up.
I ended up going to their camp. Like, I did so well, they said I didn't even have to do the second half of the camp because it was like a full day thing. They were like, I didn't even have to do the second one. But, I killed it. And then they started recruiting me like I was,
Right, like you were the
crazy.
man. Now.
Yeah, like sending handwritten letters every day, like
Really?
bringing me back up for shit to the point where I started to like them. But I was like, nah. Like I was like, in my head, I'm like, nah, because it shouldn't have took this long.
Yeah.
Like if they would have stepped up, like I would have been there.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that like it took so long, like for y'all to like see it, and I was literally an hour away. I was at the same school as your top recruit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't have took this long. And then so I ended up going to Michigan State because Mel ended up going to Iowa at the time. I was like, I'm not going to Iowa. When I went there, I saw nothing but cornfields.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that. So I ended up going to Michigan State, was the best decision ever. But that year, I was the only kid that Wisconsin committed, or that Wisconsin offered from Wisconsin to not go there. Because they're really good at keeping their kids at home.
Minnesota's not.
So,
that's actually what Wisconsin's really known for.
Yeah, I was the only kid in that class that was offered by them in state to leave.
But hey, that's a good FU.
I was cool with it. But like I said, it was just, my thing was, it kind of ties into everything, I went through, growing up at home. It's like, yeah, this kid's there. There's the potential, but he probably won't make it. And that's kind of how Wisconsin treated me until I had to show them, I can do it. So, I mean, it's just, a lot of the community stuff, yeah, I do some, but, mostly it's Mel.
Giving you a good nudge.
Yeah, giving me that nudge just because, like I said, like I didn't really feel the support. And, my family knew I was feeling that way because, I don't ever want to go back home.
Yeah.
The only reason I do go home is because of them. But it's like I don't ever want to go home. I don't really want to do anything, for them just because, I know I didn't get that support back. And, like, my parents don't really like hearing that from me just because there are a couple people that, were supportive. They're like, well, some people do. I'm like, yeah, but now that I've made it, so it's like, now,
right.
I'm seeing like a lot of stuff about me and Mel there or whatever. But like in my head, like I still know, like it's not a competition, but like I know like he's like Kenosha's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like my thing is like, well, damn, like we're in the same position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it shouldn't be a really.
It should be love. It should be a lot of love
It should
for
just
everybody.
be, I mean, but like I said, like it fits our personalities just because he's like he's really outgoing. He's really interactive with people, and like me, I think, I think it stemmed from everything that I went through. It made me like this, but because even like in high school and stuff like that, like he was always getting the support. He was always that kind of stuff. So I think just from my experiences, it made me more this way and more just to myself. Like, because my whole thing is like, I'm going to take care of me and mine. And after that, like, if I help, I help.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because my thing is like, everybody's like, oh, why don't you donate? It's like, for what?
Yeah.
I'm making sure I'm good. You feel me?
So, sometimes just donating time is more important than any kind of
I
money,
know,
too.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, there's been times that, I've definitely seen how I've impacted, younger kids and other people when I went back. So, that's always, satisfying.
Good feeling. Yeah, satisfying. That's a great way to put it. That's bogus, though. I do understand having some sort of resentment or, you know what I mean? And it's not even like you're grudging it. You just, you're like, bro, you didn't show me the same kind of love. So
like,
what
am
I doing? I don't want any fake stuff.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Mel or nothing. I have nothing against him. It's just the fact that, like I said, I was like, damn, like, you know, this like the whole process, like it wasn't
Everybody's
even,
acting brand new.
well,
now.
it wasn't even like we grew up at different times. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the first one to do it. Like we did it, you know, at the same time.
Yep.
Like I still felt it. And like if you go back and look at interviews, like he brings it up. Cause I remember one I did with him. We actually did it in Madison. Like he has said, he was like, yeah, like it's sad. A lot of people didn't believe in Trae coming out, and he might go higher than me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's funny how it works, but I mean, it's just, you know, like I said, I think it also is part of, you know, who we are as people. He's more outgoing than I am.
It was dope that he puts you on like that, like to really, bro. It's cool to have somebody who's really in your field and knows what it takes to then be like, nah, man, you guys are so far off.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be one thing.
He's a killer. You know what I mean?
It would be one thing if I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But like he was,
you do it.
Well,
you do it.
He was the one, like I was saying, doing the extra stuff. Like he would come to me, he would come with me to like all these recruiting visits, like these camps, and like just to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like it would be one thing if it was like hey, like you don't got what it takes to play, but like he'd see it every day and see it where I was. He's like, damn, like, you know, you're better than me at this, or you're just as good at me at this, and it's like. No one's kind of noticed. So it was kind of a weird thing, but you know, it was cool. Like he was really supportive with all the stuff too. So
you know, I actually read an excerpt from that coach, that Wisconsin coach, that said they were really scared to pursue you heavily because they thought it would scare off Melvin.
That wasn't the case because we were trying to go.
I feel like when they say that kind of stuff, they're trying to like just cover their own ass because like, oh, you're talking.
We didn't even play the same position.
He was literally when I read that quote, I was like,
that made no sense.
No. Like, oh, you mean his best friend? Oh yeah, that's gonna scare him.
Other side of the ball,
right?
Yeah, I don't get it either. I honestly thought that was crazy because I know they were trying to get Mike Floyd to come out to the U of M. Buddy of mine, Shady and them. They offered all of his teammates from high school to try to get Mike to come. You know what I mean? And not that they couldn't. They're great ball players, but I mean they want to keep their boys together. Like it's just absurd to think that. I don't even get it, man. I'm sorry, because that's bogus. But it's a cool FU, man.
It's cool. Like I said, it worked out great. You know, I got a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you did.
Like 5 trips. You know what I'm saying? Like we won.
You had a pick in that game.
Yeah, like we won the Big Ten championship, undefeated in bowl games. Like I made the right decision.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, the 11th pick overall. I think it shows.
And with all that success, like in college. How hard was it to make the decision to come out earlier? Was there any thought like, I'm gonna stay?
Easy.
That was easy.
He's already there 4 years.
Well, cause
I guess so. Red shirt.
Yeah.
Cause my thing, going back into college, we had touched on it earlier, like how motivated we were and like how some people just expect it to happen. I was probably one of the lower recruits in my class. I was like a 2-star or something, you know, and I'm going in.
I saw 3.
It was 2 to 3.
Right, yeah, depending on where you live.
And you know, I was going in with like, you know, 4 or 5, you know, like all these big time people. And you know, I remember, I ain't gonna say no names, but I remember, you know, I was talking to a couple of them, and like my whole thing was, even growing up, just because I know, you know, how my parents raised me and taught me, and just, you know, knowing nothing's really guaranteed. It's like my whole thing was like, all right, like this is my goal, it's my dream, but it's not a, you know, do or die. Like if this happens, like it's not, this is end all be all. So, you know, when I was there, the first couple of days, you know, it was all the freshmen and shit, and we was talking. I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, what y'all trying to do, you know, after college? And like several was like, shit, I'm gonna be in the NFL. I'm going to the league. That was their response, and it was like, I'm going to the league. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that sounds good, you know what I'm saying? But like, what's your backup? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm going to the league. And like my thing was, you know, that's what I'm gonna try to do, but it's not gonna be my end all be all. Like some of these guys, like, it's hard because in college everything's so structured and laid out for you, and their only, you know, end goal is to play at the next level. But when that doesn't happen, they're stuck. They don't know what to do because that's the only thing they was working for. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really know. And actually, one of my teammates, he's going back to, he's like a player management or something like that. It was something. But it's for that reason. It's to educate, you know, students, you know, to look outside of,
Have a backup plan.
Yeah. So, but like when back to the story though, so like when my thing was like, okay, cool. Like, what I want to do, I want to be like a guidance counselor. I'm going to, school psych major, like, But if I make it, cool.
Yeah.
So like I did my things like by steps. So it's like, when I got there, it's like, all right, well, my goal is like to get on the field, like to play. It's like, okay, my next goal is to be a starter. Then it's like, okay, I was a starter. So now it's like, all right, my next goal is like to make it to the NFL. And then like as I progress, it's like, okay, like now my goal is like, let's see if I can get to the combine. And that's like, okay, let's see if I can make first round. Okay, boom. So that happened. Checklist, boom, boom, boom. And like I treat my NFL career just like that. Like I do it by steps to like my comfortability. And like a lot of people, I took a lot of heat for being a first rounder, not starting, yada, yada, yada. But it's like,
bro, you would have started on
like
any other team in the league if you didn't come to the Vikes with those three. Bro, like
people don't think
it's not
that
like you
way.
didn't get ticked, bro. You got ticked.
People don't think that way. But my thing was like, all right, well, we'll learn the playbook. Because like when I got to Michigan State, I'm like, damn, I'm never gonna learn this playbook. It's crazy playbook. So then like when I got here, it's like, all right, learn the playbook. Now it's like, all right, get on the field. And I was playing special teams. I was like, all right, ball the fuck out on special teams. And I was like, okay, get that corner. Like then it's just it's a progression thing. But it's just crazy how shit works out. Like everybody transitions differently. Like some people can jump right in. Like my thing is like I gotta like get comfortable with it, and then when I get comfortable with it, then I can like do X, Y, and Z better. And like that's how it was in college. It was a transition. Every year I progressed. Every year I got better, and like that's how it was here.
Yeah.
Every year I progressed. Every year I got better, and like. It's funny, like, talking with my agents and stuff like that. And, like, they're like, oh, dude, every year you've gotten better. Like, you've done this better. And it's funny talking to some of, like, my close friends that, like, really pay attention to the game that aren't just fans of the game where they just sit on it, or go to the games and just watch the game. Like, I got a couple friends that will, like, really watch the game out of detail, out of, like, how.
What coverages you guys are running,
like
what you're doing on each route.
Right. Like, how I view it. Because, like, on that level, like when they're over and like growing up, like they don't view it the same way as a normal person. Just
because they probably played. A lot of people who didn't play got no idea what's going on.
They played, but not to the extent. But going through like my whole like college, my NFL like process and being around, like they see, like not exactly how I see it, but they for the most part see it how I see it. So like after a game, like I'll get calls and texts from like at least 3 or 4 of my friends that like really study and watch the game like how we do, and like they'll be like, oh, you did solid, and they'll give me like these little grades like, oh yeah, you was an A, and I'm like, and then I'm like, I could have done this better. I'll say like a B. Like, are you stupid? Like, how many times the quarterback looked your way and had to look somewhere else because you were in tight coverage or X, Y, and Z. But it's fun. It's cool.
No, you seem very, very calculated and like know what you're doing. And I think that it kind of shows too in your career, because there were times where obviously you're gonna have setbacks, and it's whether it's you get beaten coverage or you miss a read or something like that. Like how hard was it, or how easy is it as a part of you to kind of bounce back and take it one play at a time and not let something like that kind of hold you back?
Well, our coach in college, he always said you got to have a short memory playing this game, and let alone this position. So I mean, early on they taught us to just forget and move on. I mean, so that part is pretty easy, but I mean, it definitely helps when you have like your teammates or like in your corner, or your coaches have your back. Like if they put you in a shitty call and something happens, they're like, if they take ownership of it, like that's on us. Because a lot of times, like you guys and the fans, like you don't know, like you don't
know what's busted.
You see a fucked up call, and it's like, well, especially playing corner, it always looks like it's our fault. When some of the times it's not. Like we're just put in bad positions, or like we're putting in a different call where it's not really even on us, but it just looks like us. And then there's been a couple of times, you guys probably remember, like 2 years ago, when we played the Redskins, when Kirk was there, he made that crazy fucking throw, and I don't even know the receiver's name. He made some one-handed catch, falling down in the corner.
That wasn't Josh Doxson.
No, it wasn't him.
It might have been Jamison Crowder. I can't remember.
I don't know, but he like it. I was in great coverage, but dude,
it's just a good catch.
Well, I pushed him to the
a great
sideline.
spot. The only place he could put the ball.
Like he was falling down and caught it like this.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just like, and like I got up and like Eric, me and him are close. Like he was the first one. He's like, dude, there's nothing.
That was a good play.
That's just like the Aaron Rodgers like back shoulder fades and stuff like that. Like you could be right there, but if he puts it in a spot where you can't get to it,
right?
there's nothing you can
And
do.
Harry was really good with that too. Like there's sometimes like you can't cover him any better. Like at the end of the day, these
especially
guys
in
get
today's
paid
rules,
too.
bro.
Well, these guys get paid too. They're professionals, so I mean, they're so that really helps when you have the support of your teammates and coaches.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, today's rules makes it very hard to be a DB.
Oh yeah.
Period. I mean, it's a passing league on purpose. They want to have high-scoring games, and anybody will tell you like you can't defend a perfect thrown ball.
No, you can't defend everything. So.
Yeah, you can't. If he just lays in the right spot, luckily there's not that many guys that do it like that every day. So, but I mean, the other thing I want to talk to you about was because the Underwear Olympics is going on right now. That's what they call the scouting combine.
Oh,
And that's where you really shine, man.
yeah.
my bad.
My eyes lit up too. I'm like, Underwear Olympics. Like, what?
But I mean,
Where is he
we
going?
ain't talking about this.
End this
you
already.
ran the second fastest 40 the whole day there, or the whole combine, I should say, because what 3 days or whatever it is. And then on top of that, you had was it 19 reps on the bench press?
Yeah, I wanted fucking 20.
You wanted 20? What happened there? You did some push-ups before you got in there, or what? Tied yourself
I lost count, and when you're doing something like that for high repetition, for as fast as you have to do it, like when you start doing other things instead of focusing on just that, it kind of wears on you. So like I'm benching while trying to make sure I do it correctly, because if you don't do it the right way, that you don't get that rep. And while I'm counting, while I'm working on like the breathing techniques, so it's just. I was trying to count, and then like that was taken away from other stuff, and then I just burned myself out.
Too bad they don't put something like above you to do like the tracking.
That might be kind of hard too, though.
To like watch that.
Well, yeah, because then you're focused on something else, and
I would have always thought that like somebody there would be counting out loud,
You think
like
it'd be
your reps.
that.
Like why would?
yeah, I
you
mean,
got no-
I think they are, but you still want to do
so
it yourself.
locked in, yeah.
You're like, all right, like this is what I'm going for. So 1, 2, 3, and like there's a lot going on.
So, and at the combine, did you get any of the interview questions that were like way out of left field?
Nah, I didn't really. No, because I was pretty easy in college. Luckily I didn't get really caught doing anything, but I didn't really. Yeah.
But you didn't get caught.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I was pretty clean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't really have any like drug issues. I didn't really get arrested. Like nothing really happened outstanding. Right. So I was pretty, even in high school, like the same thing. I was fortunate enough not to be caught up in, a lot of things. So I didn't really have a lot of digging on me. Yeah. So.
Was it fun, that experience, or was I
College?
heard it's no.
Oh, the combine, that shit was horrible.
I heard it's boring.
No, it's the best worst experience.
Worst.
Well, just because I put that in a football kid's head, like that's what it is. Because growing up, you're like everybody's like, oh, that's where I want to be. I want to be at the combine. I want to do the combine. Like, you can ask any football player, like that's where they wanted to go, because that's where if you go there, you're good. So like the combine, though, like it's a horrible experience. I mean, it's set up for you. It's set up to make you perform at, one of your lowest. What's the word I'm looking for? Not at ideal conditions.
Okay.
You don't really sleep there. Because especially if you come out early, like you have meetings, and then like they drug test you at like 3 a.m.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they do a lot of you guys, so it's like now then there's a line. So the earlier you get up to do it, you can go back to sleep for maybe 2 hours before you got to get up and go do other stuff. Like you got to go to the hospital for hours to get all these examinations and tests done. And then they're like, all right, now then you got to like take these like IQ tests, and then it's like, okay, cool, now go perform. Okay. And it's like you're running on maybe 5 hours of sleep, maybe within a couple days. So, because like I said, since I came out early, like a lot of guys didn't have meetings because they did them at like the Senior Bowl and stuff. So I was having meetings up until 10, 11 o'clock at night.
They feeding you during all that?
They're feeding you, yeah. But then it's like, okay, then I gotta go see my trainer and my agent so they can prep me for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But then I gotta get up in 3 hours so I can go do this drug test at 3 in the morning.
Yep.
Hopefully I can go back to sleep after that. And then you have mandatory breakfast at like 6 a.m. or something.
That's trash.
Yeah, it's not
I think
ideal.
they'd have that better than that.
Nah, it's not ideal. They want to see you,
handle stress and adversity.
Yeah, because it's not ideal.
Jeez, man.
Because I almost because they draw blood to I almost passed out because I don't do good with needles.
Oh, I hate needles.
But like I almost fainted because like they were just drawing blood. I'm like,
Probably fatigue and everything
Yeah,
already,
I'm
so
just-
it's like, damn.
so it's like I said, it's the best worst experience because like it's awesome because you're there, but the experience is just as a whole is terrible.
So what do you think you would have done if you would have got sleep? You would have had been comfortable where you were at, sleeping at your own spot or whatever, and you did all that day.
I think I think I would have been fine. Yeah, I probably would have performed the same.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah, just because at that point, like you're so locked in. You're like, this is the biggest job interview of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be locked in and you got to just be ready to go.
Were there people there? I mean, do you spend more time with? I mean, you're gonna spend time with the coaches and the GMs and scouts and stuff like that. Who really impressed you while you were there?
You talking about like players?
Well, players too. That would be another one I'd like to talk about right after that. But like actual players, scouts, people behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about.
No, there wasn't really too much of that.
That stood out?
Yeah, no, it was.
All bland.
Yeah, it was. Coaches. It was GMs, like shit like that. It wasn't really anything crazy. No.
Are owners really involved?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. No, not owners. I'm head coaches.
Okay.
Nah, owners will be there sometimes, but you don't really. I don't remember meeting any of them though. I don't
You
think
feel like
they're
that'd
really.
be weird because I don't know many owners that would actually know much about football.
No, I don't think it would be weird just because if you're investing in something in someone, you kind of want to know the
Right.
business behind it, So,
Oh, yeah.
like, if I'm doing something, like, I want to be involved. Like, for instance, me and my buddy, we're starting a hunting outfitter, actually starting probably April 15th in Wisconsin.
Really?
And I don't really know too much about, the hunting world, but since I'm pretty much the owner of it,
Yeah.
I've been paying attention. I've been, doing my research, doing my due diligence because I want to know what I'm investing in.
That's
So-
actually the next thing I want to talk about was a hobby of yours, being hunting and fishing, and kind of give us that background because I don't think many people know that about you. That was one of the things that surprised me that Q brought up.
Yeah. I didn't really grow up doing it. I fish here and there, but I didn't really get into it until I got here. My grandparents, they own a farm, so we grew up on that pretty much. But I really didn't get into hunting and fishing until I got here, and I met actually my business partner. He really got us into it. I've always kind of enjoyed it, but I never really got the opportunity to really do it.
Yeah.
So once I got here, like, he was really, because he's lives and breathes this shit. So he really got us into it. And then, now I live on a lake on Tonka. So it's like now, me and my daughter will go out and just throw a couple lines in every day. Or I'll just go out on the boat or just go fishing. Just because I can do it right out of my backyard.
Yeah.
So, that's something I really got into. And then, as for hunting, this is more recent, but, my big thing is, like, I never really wanted to play football long.
Yeah.
Just because I know the toll it takes on, physically, mentally. It's time consuming, So my thing was I want to get in, get paid, get out.
And
So
be healthy leaving.
Yeah. So I started looking into, other ways, to bring in income. And one thing I started doing 3 years back was purchasing land in Wisconsin. And, my thing behind that was I'm going to purchase it low, make renovations to it, improve it, improve the value and sell it down the road. But so that's what I started a couple of years ago. But 2 years ago, actually, me and my buddy came up with this idea, like, hey, like, we have all this land, or I have all this land. Why don't we, turn it into like a business and then, go from there. So, and like I said, he lives, breathes this. And, so we started, Homegrown Outfitters.
Okay.
That's going to be launching April 15th. And right now we're already, so we would have been sold out of hunts this coming fall, but we turned a couple of people down just because it didn't match up with the dates, but we would have been full. But, you know, we're halfway full. You know, we're already going to be on 3 TV shows. So,
dope.
yeah.
Super
so
dope.
it's going really well. And we just actually had a meeting with Cutterback Cameras to work on a partnership with them.
So what are you guys doing? You taking them out there to hunt for deer? Or you taking them out there
Yeah,
to do
deer,
anything?
whitetail.
Whitetail?
So they'll come to our property. We have a lodge up in Nelson. They'll stay there. There's like 12 beds up there. And then they'll, you know, pay us, you know, the fee to come hunt for, I think it's like 5 days.
Yeah.
And then my partner will be out there guiding, you know, showing them a good time, you know, just interacting with them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's moving pretty fast.
So is it, or go ahead.
Oh, honestly, well, with all like if you have hunting parties up there all the time, like, are you guys doing anything to kind of ensure that like the deer population on your kind of area stays up?
Yeah, that's one thing that's different that we're doing that other outfitters can't do or won't do or that aren't doing. We own all the property.
Yeah.
And we're making renovations to the property. So we're pulling a lot of deer off other properties just because our land's better.
Yep.
And, you know, what other outfitters are doing that are bigger, they lease it. They lease the land. And you're not going to
So they
put
can't
money into
compete with
something.
that,
Well,
yeah.
you're not going to put in your money into something that you don't own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that, you know, we're not putting the pressure that other outfitters are doing either. Like, we're strategically, you know, bringing and putting hunters in places that aren't heavily hunted. Like, other outfitters, like, they'll bring in 300-400 guys a year and they just cycle them in and out and putting a lot of pressure on the areas. When we're not doing that, we're not going to overhunt these areas, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we're strategically doing it to give our clients the best chance to, you know,
Best
get a deer.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you strictly into deer? You hunt other animals?
I mean, yeah, I've shot a turkey before. I'm not good at it. You know, I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm still learning. I missed a nice 150 deer this past season. But you know, I'm getting into it. You know, I still am new to it. It's kind of hard, just with the season, because when hunting season is during the middle of our season, so it's like I don't really get the chance to, you know, practice or go out as much as I want to. But, you know, I'm trying to do it when I can.